Yes, my name is Matt Davis. I'm the sports director here at the White Rock YMCA. This video will serve as our 2017 Fall Soccer Coaches Meeting, as well as participant parent informational. I just want to be sure everybody's on the same page before we head into the soccer season. We're going to talk about league rules as well as league information, so we'll get right into it. So as far as league rules, we can talk about pre-K and kindergarten all in the same breath. They're going to play at the same location, Randall Park. Each game is played on a separate field. There's 8 different little fields that are going to be set up on that one big field. Pre-K and kindergarten, they're going to play 5-on-5 with no goalie. No goalie means no goalie. So the teams in the past that have tried to get around that rule as far as having somebody sag back but they run straight to the goal, we can't have that. That's not what the rule says. The rule states that you can't be in the goal. Now, I know teams do work on defense and they do want a player to be back to prevent a goal from being scored, which is fine, just as long as they're not camped out in the goal. So please keep that in mind. Your pre-K through your kindergarten league as well is going to be all kick-ins, no throw-ins. We will still simulate and do goal kicks and corner kicks, pre-K and kinder. As far as our pre-K division, we have a pre-K 3 and 2 pre-K 4 divisions. The pre-K 3, of course, is your 3-year-olds. The pre-K 4 white is your younger 4-year-olds. Those are your old 3s that maybe turn 4 right at season start, or will stay 4 throughout the season. Pre-K green is your 4s that are going to turn 5, so that you don't have that big year gap differential from a person that's in pre-K that's in pre-K 4 that may be turning 5 during the school year, and that pre-K 4 person that may turn 4 during the school year. There's still a year gap there. So that's the difference between pre-K white and pre-K green. As far as pre-K, you're going to play on a 15 by 20 yard field. You're going to play 4 8-minute quarters. For kindergarten, you're going to play on a 20 by 25 yard field. You're going to play 4 10-minute quarters. So again, those are the rules there for pre-K through kindergarten. So pretty easy. Again, it's 5-on-5, no goalie, so everybody pretty much in on the ball. Kick-ins instead of throw-ins. We'll do goal kicks and we'll do corner kicks. For first grade is going to be 7-on-7. So that's 6 players in the field plus the goalie. First grade plays on a 30 by 50 field. But really, it's a little bit bigger because you can run first and second on the same field. We've done it for the past 4 years. These games are at Stonewall and Hexter Elementary, so the field dimension really will be closer to probably 40 by 60. But again, first grade is going to be a 7-on-7. We're still going to play 10-minute quarters. You're going to play 4. You're going to do throw-ins. You will have goal kicks, corner kicks. There will be penalty kicks. Now, there's no direct penalty kick in first grade, only indirect. So indirect is you have to kick it to another player rather than kick it to the goal. Second grade is 8 versus 8. We're going to play 2 25-minute halves. They're going to play on the same field, a 40 by 60 field. Again, those games are going to be at Stonewall and Hexter as well. The goal size for both first and second are what the goals are at Stonewall and Hexter. So they're bigger than what's listed on the rules, but that is what we do play with. Third grade is going to play 9 versus 9. They play on a 50 by 80 field. We will be able to run games at Stonewall and Hexter for those divisions. And third, they're going to play 2 25-minute halves as well. Now in third, there is the offsides penalty. That is where there's an offensive player that's ahead of the ball, and there's no defender between that offensive player and the goal. So if you were to pass it to that guy that's ahead of the ball without a defensive player in front of them, then that would be the offsides call. Now there is the chance that there is a penalty within the penalty box or the goal box. If that was to occur, that is a direct kick shot on goal between the player and the goalie. So just keep that in mind as well. As far as fourth and up is going to be played at Richardson YMCA. We do combine with them. Those games are up there at the Richardson location. Fourth grade's 9 versus 9 as well. They play 2 30-minute halves. The dimensions of the field are the same as third grade. Fifth and sixth are 11 versus 11. 2 30-minute halves as well. They play on an 80 by 100. And then, of course, seventh and up is 2 35-minute halves, 11 versus 11 on the same field, 80 by 100. Again, that's fourth grade and up. Fourth grade and up is interleagued with the Richardson YMCA, but all of those games will be at the Richardson field site. So that's really the basic premise of the rules, the ones that are most important. Now, the packet that I will send out with the rules in it, it does go more in depth to as far as explaining indirect and direct kicks, as well as what constitutes yellow and red cards when you get into the fourth and up divisions. So that will cover our league rules. Now we'll go into the league information, just so everybody's on the same page heading into the season. Coaches, yesterday I sent you an email with the second draft of our rosters. So if there's any changes that still need to be made, please let me know. If you're missing any players that you're expecting and you think they've signed up, or the parents say they've signed up, go ahead and just send me those names. I'll run them through my roster again. If they have signed up, I'll be sure to add them. If for whatever reason they're not there, I'll let you know, hey, so-and-so hasn't signed up yet, but they still can. As far as the players that you're expecting that haven't registered yet, they can register here at the YMCA front desk. They will have to come in person. Online is not available. They will need to tell the front desk that they are on a team. Part of that email yesterday too as well was I told you when schedules would be out. Schedules will be out by the 25th. That's Friday of next week. So that's when you will be able to find schedules. Schedules will be online at teamsideline.com/WhiteRockYMCA. I also emailed you to ask for your conflict dates. If you could return your conflict dates to me via email by Wednesday at noon of this next week, that would be the best. As far as conflict dates are dates that you know your team cannot play on a given Saturday. So it's a way for me to work around that date for your team prior to having the schedule out. Now, conflict dates, if it's an Adventure Guide event, please be sure you put that down. I know that there is campouts scheduled when soccer is scheduled, but we will play games those same campout weekends. So if you know your team can't play because they're going to go on that campout, then please tell me, please list that as your conflict date so I will work around it. Again, please have those conflict dates to me by Wednesday of next week, noon if possible, and each team is allowed 2 and 2 only. As far as the link that I mentioned yesterday for the volunteer coaches to sign up, that link is it's going to send you to our online volunteer application. I know some of you in the past have filled out the paper form, or even this season you filled out the paper form, but everything is online, and to be compliant you will have to set up your application online. It's the same stuff, it's the same information. You're still going to have your background check ran, as well as complete the child abuse protection training video. So that will be a link that I will send out within a couple of days. As far as practices are up to the coaches, of course. As far as the coach can pick whatever works for their team, the location, the day of week, the time, all that good stuff. The YMCA doesn't reserve practices specifically for teams for soccer, but we do reserve field space that they can use. The field space will be Hexter Elementary and Mata Elementary, as well as a new field site that is a property of White Rock Methodist that's off of John West Road. All three of those sites are booked by the Y from 5 to 8 Monday through Friday. So any given time during that time frame, your team can practice. So we kind of do a gentleman's agreement. Everybody kind of gets used to where everybody practices after the first week. So it's a first come, first serve operation as far as the practices go. So please be mindful of where people are practicing, and we've got plenty of green space at all three of those locations. If you want to use a different site, such as Stonewall or one of the Dallas parks, I know there is certain protocol you have to go through with Stonewall and their front desk, and of course Dallas Parks, you're gonna have to get a reservation through the city. So at least this way, we do have 3 locations that we can use with plenty of green space that are already reserved by the Y for your team. Now, typically a practice is 1 day a week for 1 hour. Now, I know with the younger kiddos, you're not going to need as much green space, or you're not going to need as much time to practice, given their attention spans, and it might be the first couple of weeks as far as practices and games may still be hot. So I understand if you cut down on practice, but all that I require is just 1 day a week for at most an hour. Game locations, as I mentioned before, the 4th and up are going to play at the Richardson site. So once that schedule comes out, you will have that location. I'm pretty sure it's similar to what has been played on before in prior seasons. That's been Lookout Park, as well as other sites that they have up there. Our game sites, of course, are Randall Park for pre-K through kindergarten. First and second and third will play either at Stonewall or Hexter Elementary. Game days for pre-K through kindergarten are Saturdays. For first and second, we can play either Saturday or Sunday, and for third as well. And for 4th and up, games are Thursdays and Saturdays. Now, as far as 4th and up, the reason that there's Thursday games is if our teams had more conflict dates than just the one that Richardson requests, then there may be a chance that you will have a Thursday evening game. So just keep that in mind when you're sending conflict dates in. If you're a fourth and up team, then the more conflict dates that you have, the more chance you're going to have a Thursday evening game. As far as pictures, our picture dates are 9/30, so that's September 30th, and as well as October 7th. So we will have a photographer on hand to take team pictures as well as individuals. And again, those dates are September 30th as well as October 7th. I will also provide medals for the league, so there will be league medals. So you don't have to buy medals for your team. That will be towards the end of the season. Coaches, as well as coordinating practice, location, and time, you will coordinate the jerseys also. Jerseys are not associated with the league fee. One jersey place that I recommend would be Dallas East Sports. They're pretty reasonable in price. They are located down Garland Road, 10244 Garland Road, next to Keller's. So you can go ahead and start getting your jersey orders ready and sent in. And it takes turnaround's usually about 7 to 10 days. So the sooner the better there. Like I said, you received your rosters yesterday, as well as some other information. If your rosters are accurate, go ahead and reach out to your families and if you haven't introduced yourself or you don't know them yet, go ahead and let them know that you're the coach. Just go ahead and start getting that jersey size. and get the jerseys ordered as soon as possible. I'll also send a follow-up on this once I send the link out for this video, going over what we went over in the video as sort of a checklist. So just want to let everybody know that. Also, is one more thing. When it comes to new teams, I will be forming new teams after I've placed everybody that I can on existing teams that either need players or parents that have already told me that they want to coach. After that, what I have left, I'm going to be forming new teams, and parents, you may expect an email that states that I need another volunteer coach. So just be prepared for that as well, and we'll get you set up to have a good and fun season. So again, this is our coaches meeting. I thank you for your time. I'm really looking forward to the season, and everybody have a good day.